Hey, Mike here. Great to talk with you. In the next video, I'm going to go over pay-per-click traffic because I get tons of pay-per-click traffic and for cheap, and people are interested in those techniques. But before I get to that, I want to make a couple points about email marketing that are really important. Make this video short, but you got to know this stuff because you're going to blow a lot of money if you don't, all right? And I'll just tell you my story, how that happened to me. I've been doing this for 15 years now, and when I first started out, I was using an email company called bcentral.com. It's owned by Microsoft. It was great. It's like $50 a month. I had no problems with them. It was just awesome. And then they shut down. Microsoft shut down that business. I don't know why. So I didn't know what to do. I had to get another email list service management company to host my list and send out my emails. And I looked around and I found one that was being used by some giant auto companies, insurance companies, corporate America. They had their logos on their site so I could trust them. Well, it worked fine for a while. They charged me a whole lot of money, like $1,000 a month. My list was 50,000 people at the time. Over the next 2 or 3 years, it grew to about 100,000. And then I realized that something was wrong. My emails were no longer being opened and clicked as much. And I talked to other people that were using them, and they're having the same problem. In fact, what I came to realize was this company's thing was blacklisted, and this was actually always a problem with them. I just didn't ask around enough. To make a long story short, I ended up deleting that email list that had 100,000 names on it because it was pretty much worthless because of the company I was using to host it. So then I went to Aweber. There's others out there. MailChimp, I know someone uses them. Anyway, there's probably a half a dozen good ones. Ask around, but Aweber is what I use. It's what I'm familiar with, so that's what I'll be showing you in these videos. And as you can see today, I have signed up 161 people. Yesterday, 127. Yes, we got 54 people that unsubscribed today because I sent them a promotional email telling them to buy something, and these people decided they don't want to hear that, so they got off. Well, that's fine with me. I'd rather have someone get off than stay on and just waste space. But I hardly ever get any spam complaints. I'll talk about that later on, how to cut those down and make them practically non-existent. But there's a couple points I want to make to you in this video. Okay. I'm going to talk a lot about paid traffic in this module, but free traffic is also very important. I've been, just like you, learning from Project X, learning from the people in it, applying the methods, and I've doubled my traffic coming from free search over the past, I think, 6-8 weeks by just setting up about 10 PBNs. That's pretty awesome, all right? It's incredible. And I got to show you, though, what do I do with the free traffic to turn that into leads? Because that's important too. It's not just important just to get traffic. You know, traffic's useless if it doesn't do anything. So we want to save that traffic. We want to grab the viewer or the web browser person and get them to opt in so we can talk to them and share our thoughts and ideas with them and build something of a relationship on that level and so forth. So if you use Aweber, and any other company you use, I'm pretty sure is going to have this, you get a sign up form of Aweber. You click here, you build your list first, you go to list options, and then I've got multiple lists, but just show you really quickly, hit publish. I've already got these forms created. They're really easy to make. You just create form. It's really really self-explanatory, and then you get the code. All right, you can use HTML, but I like JavaScript. Copy paste, and here's my. Whoops, come back. Where are we? Here's my website, wallstreetwindow.com. I'm proud of this website, and other people seem to like it too, so there you go. But anyway, what I do, of course, it's a paid membership area, but it's also a free blog, okay? And on the free blog, I put posts on there that It has something to do with the news or something to do with what's going on in the financial markets, but it's pretty much all opinion pieces. Nothing really concrete about how to make money. It's kind of like, just building a relationship with the people on an opinion basis. But what I tend to do is put a link or a link to sign up to my email list or the simple HTML code on every single page of my website, just about, except just a few administrative pages or landing pages, which I'll have to show you my landing pages too, because that's real important in this business also. But again, every single page I got the something about opting in. So I don't want to. So a bond market surprise is coming. So people are going to say, "What's the bond market surprise?" They're going to want to watch the video, and I'll tell them. And then if they get interested in it, they're going to see this at the bottom of every post on my website. And it says, it's got a video of me saying, hey, opt in and get this more information. There's a link right below to opt in. If they click the link, then they go to a squeeze page. Right here's the form. Again, what I'm trying to tell you is every single page on my website at the bottom of the post has a link telling you to sign up, because that's the most important for me. You may have banner ads, you may be trying to do stuff as an affiliate, but for me, every single the purpose of my website is to build a relationship with people, and how do I do that? By communicating with them on blog posts, and then by getting traffic to the website where these people will opt in, so I can follow up with them in email, communicate. I got to get them in this email list. It's the most important thing. So every single page tells them to do that. Simple. Now, if you got WordPress, I'm going to show you a trick to do that. Of course, you may think, well, I'm going to do the easy thing, and this is a friend of mine's website, and I helped him do this actually. Here's a form, the Aweber form. What do you call this? What's the term in WordPress? Well, you're familiar with it. We'll see it in a second, but I'll show you how to do it in a second. But anyway, on the side, this is the most common thing people do. They stick their opt-in form on the sidebar. It's worth doing. By the way, my website, I use Drupal. Almost all my PBNs and stuff, I use WordPress too, and sister sites and stuff. So anyway, opt-in form. Now I need to show you the trick. And this is one of my websites. If you wanted, I should get my friend to do this actually. So anyway, if you go to his website, this is typical WordPress stuff. Leave a reply. His system would work better if you had the opt-in form right here, not just on the sidebar, but right here, or a link telling people to go to it. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, I'm going to show you a trick of how to if you're using a WordPress trick, if you're using WordPress, how to get the opt-in form to show up on the bottom of all your posts, like I'm doing on my Wall Street Window website. These are widgets, the sidebar stuff. That's the word that slipped my mind. So you're going to go in your admin section. If you want to put the sidebar widget on there, that's simple. In fact, themes, widgets. You just go to Appearance, Widgets, and you're going to make a text widget. Add the widget. And inside the text, you put the code. I got it show everywhere or whatever. And there you are, simple stuff. But let me show you the real trick, how to get that code to show up on the end of every single one of your blog posts. Because then you'll be generating leads just about all the time. All the free traffic, everyone's going to see the opt-in form. That's what you want. You go to your appearance, you're going to edit the style sheet stuff, the templates that are being used. You just want them simple. You're going to go to the one that says single post. This is WordPress's code telling it what to put on what to do whenever a post is requested to be created. See, it's creating the content, then it's got a comments template. Start looking for the sidebar. Well, we're going to want to put it right here. So it's going to show up inside the content code area before the comments template is told to be generated by WordPress. So right here, before this PHP and if code. I think you can see it. That's just the JavaScript code from Aweber. And we hit update file. And now when someone goes to one of the pages on this website, this code will generate the opt-in code. If it doesn't, you're going to think I don't know what I'm doing. So I hope it works. There it is. Sign up now. Now I would recommend when you create your opt-in form, you can make it better than that. Make it look like my buddies. You know, something more about signing up. And I actually liked when I write these posts to tell people to sign up. Now I had something else I wanted to tell you before I go, and I know what it is. It's a big question everyone has when they start dabbling or start doing this seriously. You have whenever you create an email list of Aweber, and probably I think just about everyone gives you this option nowadays, it will ask you, do you want to do single opt-in or double opt-in? What this means is that when someone opts in to your email form, if it's double opt-in, they won't be put on your list unless they hit approve. I want to be on your list in an email they get after they opt in. In other words, they opt in, they're sending an email, they have to click yes. If they don't do that, they're not really ever put on your list. Or you can bypass that with single opt-in, meaning they are opted in immediately after they type in their name. So people will tell you, if you do single opt-in, you're in danger of spammers getting onto your email list, and then you're ruined. If you do double opt-in, then half the people won't get on maybe, and you won't make as much money. So what do? No one knows what to do. The truth is I've done both, and really in the long run I don't really think there's that much difference in the money you make, because most of the people who don't do the double opt-in are going to end up being people that are going to ignore your emails anyway. That said, this is what I do most of the time. I usually have it set to single opt-in. However, I monitor the situation. I look at this account once or twice a day, at least once a day, and to see if there's any unusual activity. Because one time I looked in my account and I had 1,000 opt-ins, and and it kept going. Someone was attacking me with the spam people. I don't know who it was. I don't know what they're doing, but I saw that and I switched it to double opt-in. I had no problems. So if you do single opt-in, just monitor the account. I don't think, I never had any trouble. The real trouble people get into is if they get people complaining about spam, and that can happen whichever way you do the opt-in. But we'll talk about how to prevent people from complaining about spam and cut those complaints down to about 0 in a future video. But this is the video for today, and the next one will be about generating traffic from pay-per-click, because you already got the tools here to generate free traffic. And it's fun when you get free traffic, when you got a website set up and you know people are seeing your content and wanting it, liking it so much that they want to hear more from you, and then you get them in the email list, and it's awesome. So that's me today, and next video is right below. Hey, Mike here. Now we're going to start to talk about the meaty stuff, translating paid traffic into leads. It's going to be a series of videos. Overall, I'm going to focus on Google pay-per-click because that's what I mainly use, and it's what most people first start out doing. But in this video, we're going to talk about banner ads, ad networks, and the Google Content Network all together. In the next video, we'll be focusing more on pay-per-click traffic using Google. But I got to tell you, first of all, what paid traffic can do for you. With paid traffic, it becomes very easy to test offers and landing pages, and do multiple tests to get things to convert well. Very fast. That's the thing. Fast and instant results once you get things working. But I want to tell you though, you do not need to test and test every single day. Once you get something working, you just run with it. I've seen people in other programs talk about, test, constantly testing, and you don't need to do that. You just get something working and be happy, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you though, when it comes to paid traffic, I once heard someone say that with $30,000 you can dominate the biggest of markets, and I think that's true. I have at times spent that much in a month. The amount I spend varies from month to month, but I can tell you, if you spend up to $30,000 in paid traffic, you can dominate a market. And if you can get things working correctly and good for you, you can literally turn $1 into $2. I have done it, and I'm getting good returns now, but I have done that. Spent $1 and made $2, and it's incredible if you can get that going. And I say 30,000 can dominate the biggest of markets because that can bring you a huge amount of traffic and a lot of attention from other people. And here's the thing, if you got both SEO going, which you can easily have, you probably already got if you're following the methods that Greg is teaching in Project X, and if you got pay-per-click going, both going, and you understand domain authority, Google authorship with a central website, you will not only dominate a market, but you're going to rule going forward as things change down the road. But here's the other thing about all this stuff, all right, few dare to try. And I know that because I've got a presence in the stock trading market and in the gold market, and I speak with other people. I know hundreds, maybe up to 100 people that have similar business models that I got. They've got subscription financial websites, and they don't do paid advertising. And then I'm telling you, a lot of them are barely making it. And I look at their businesses, and they could do a lot, but they just don't want to. And they don't want to learn SEO, and they don't want to do pay-per-click. They don't want to try to get more traffic. That sounds crazy to you, I'm sure, but what happened is that 13 years ago, 14 years ago, you could literally start a website in the right market and get customers just by having people come to your website. If you could do interviews or do something to get some little bit of attention, it was actually easier to convert people back then. It's much harder now. It takes more traffic. So there's people that I know have never adapted to these changes. Anyway, it probably doesn't interest you, but the point about all this, and why I'm telling it to you, is that most people will not go and do the necessary stuff to get traffic to do pay-per-click. And with pay-per-click, people have a real fear of losing money. And it does. It costs a few $1,000s, frankly, to get a good campaign going. So it does take a money investment. But you got to get over the idea of spending a little bit of money to make a return. Look, if you can spend a few $1,000s and get something going, you can dominate. But you just got to get over that fear, and most people don't ever get over it. And there are reasons to be afraid. because it is easy to get hosed spending money on Google and pay-per-click and ad networks. You got to set up the campaigns right, and you got to do good bidding strategies that work. And people don't know these strategies. They don't know how to set things up. It's easy to learn how to create a campaign, but you've got to have the right strategy of bidding to make things work. And people, you know, they don't. These ad networks don't tell you how to do this stuff. But I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'm not going to really talk about that in this video specifically, but we will cover it in the next video. But the bottom line is, two things go on in this whole thing. People are afraid to get started, and most people who do get started don't know what the heck they're doing, and they do a campaign and they don't know how to set it up right, and it fizzles out. And I see this because I monitor ad campaigns in my market, and I see many people come and go constantly, and then I see a few people that are always there, always advertising and dominating. And frankly, I am sort of one of those people in the market. I'm not like the biggest player in my market. I'm like a mid-tier guy. But that's, being a mid-tier guy in the stock trading and gold world, that's a big deal. And I'm telling you, you know, I don't mean to scare you off by saying if you do things wrong, you can lose, because the rewards are incredible. Like I said before, if you can spend $1 and make $2, you are turning money into more money. You're multiplying money, and if you can get over the idea that you're spending money on advertising and instead you're multiplying money, you realize how powerful this is. I mean, this is one of the most powerful things you can do, because if you got a high converting offer, I really cannot think of a better investment than anything. And I'm telling you, I've made money in the stock market for years. I own partnerships in brick and mortar businesses that are very successful, where a 30% return on an investment is considered incredible. That's considered incredible for a company in the so-called real world. But here I'm talking about the potential to invest $1 and make $2, or if it's $1 and making $1.50, it's incredible. There's a $1 investment and making $1.30 and turning it over like that. That's incredible. You know, that's considered incredible if you go to Harvard Business School. So there's no better investment than I know of than traffic off the internet, and pay-per-click traffic is incredible. You have the potential to double your investment over and over and over again, but it's going to depend on a lot of factors. What does it depend on? Your conversion rates of either your product or the affiliate products that you're offering people that you're attracting to your website. How much are the products costing, or how much of a return do you get when a conversion is made? How frequently do you make offers? What is your niche in your market? And a giant mistake, again, besides just being too scared to do anything, is people price many of their products too low. This is what I see in my market, and if you're priced too low, you simply can't afford to do any sort of advertising or invest in SEO or anything. So that's a big deal. But the people who get this right rule market, and if you rule market and you're willing to do the work and the investment in time and money, it's incredible. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about in this series. Now, I want to tell you, first of all, though, before I start getting into the nitty-gritty stuff, that in my marketplace, paid traffic can be so effective that people send it straight to an offer and ask for money right up front. There's some people that do that. I don't do that. I do list building. I send the traffic to opt into an email list, and I follow up on the email list. That's what my business is built upon. But there are other people that send it straight to an offer. But I'm going to focus on what I do because that's what my experience is. But I'm just saying that to tell you that there's lots of possibilities. But I'm hoping that you will be able to listen from my experience and my teachings on how to do this stuff and take it and adapt it to your own needs. But let's start and start digging into it. Just remember, if you get traffic, you can rule. So get traffic, SEO traffic, plus pay-per-click traffic. If you do this, you're going to start to get the attention of everyone in your marketplace. What happens to me is I get offers from someone just about every single day, someone asking me to promote their product or their service or do an affiliate deal, or I get emails from people wanting to work for me, which is kind of crazy. But you will get the attention of everyone, not just the leads and the people in the market, the potential customers, but you can make partnerships if you want to. But if you get so much traffic, one thing that can happen to you too, though, if you are flooded with so much traffic, so many opt-ins or customers or whatever, you can get to a point where you don't even care about affiliate offers or partnerships anymore because you're so busy converting the leads you're getting. And that's an interesting position to be in too. Now, a neat thing about ads is you can also spy on the competition and see what's going on in the marketplace and what your competitors are doing. And there's websites that let you do this. There's one called AdBeat that will, you can do a trial and check them out. There's these things come and go, meaning that every year it seems like there's a new one that comes, or they change their names or whatever. But this is one going on right now that you may want to check out, and you can find out what's going on in your market, and that'll give you an idea of what types of ads are working, what types of websites people are advertising on, what types of offers people are making, and you can just really get a feel for what is going on. You can spy on me, and see what I'm doing if you want to do that. But let's start focusing on the banner ads, and then we'll go from there. Okay. If you use that spy system or some site like that, you can start to see what type of banners other people are running to give you an idea to make your own banner. And when I'm speaking of paid advertising in this module, I'm going to be primarily speaking about banner ad advertising on other websites, where you put your ad on other sites and get traffic from them in return for your investment in money. And you take that traffic and do what you're going to do with it. But there's two basic types of banner ads that work, and I've used both of them. I've been doing this now, paid advertising, since I think 2002, and I've used, got a lot of experience in this. All right, two types of ads. Okay, you either want one that blends in and looks like a part of the site for people to click. Generally speaking, that's going to be an ad that is like a news headline. If you go to the Drudge Report, you'll see these type of ads appear on there. And when people click those ads, basically the landing page that you send them to should be orientated to a news type of theme, or the headline that your banner ad is about. The other type of banner ad is the type where you usually see graphics on it, enticing people to click. They're designed to stand out and get the person's attention. And generally speaking, those type of ads, when someone clicks them, the landing pages that tend to work the best, I've found, are ones that entertain their brain and stimulate them and make them amused or entertained, or create an emotional charge. The news type headline is someone that wants they generally are looking for information, a bold headline, and then they want the information in the headline, so they go to the page, and then you want them to do something to get more information. So the landing page needs to feed their brain but make them want more, and then you then ask them to give me the sale or opt-in. The stand out or entertain deal is you stimulate their entertain them and amuse them and make them, provoke them is another way to do it, and then make them want to take another step. But that's an important thing right here, the type of ad you want to do. Now, here, another trick about these banner ads, which is very important, is there's a temptation to, when you start out, to say, I want to make an ad campaign that's going to work. So I want to get the most number of people I can to click this. And then what you're going to mentally try to do then is appeal to the masses, as many people as you can. What could be an example of that? Well, I'll show you an example in a second, but you could say something like, I'm in the investment market, so I'm going to make an ad that says, click here to make money. Well, I don't really want, that's too general. What you really want to do, and what makes all this stuff you're going to learn from these modules or from these videos important, is it makes this whole thing work and very powerful, is these banner ads in SEO Google AdWords advertisements, all of this paid advertising. What really makes it powerful is that it allows you to call out the people that you want in your advertisements. By doing that, you're able to attract specifically the type of people that you want to get them to your website. And it's a gigantic thing. So you don't go big in the sense of going for 1 million people or something, you know, the masses. No, you target. The more you can narrow down your ad and call out to the people you want, the better you can communicate to them, the more specific you can be. And that is incredibly powerful. So let me give you 3 examples of ads I've actually run and apply this concept and show you how targeting, the more you target, the better it can work. So here's this top ad that I have run. These are all targeted gold people. Click here, investment earthquake, secret internal Federal Reserve report warns of coming crisis 2018. Well, this went to a landing page that had a video of me in it saying, I got a secret Federal Reserve report that's warning that, you know, the bond market could blow up in 2018. It's all true. You know, I bet it's alarmist, yes, but it is also, it's true. I do have this report, and the people opt in, they get to read it. Well, here's what happens. Who are these people clicking this ad? Are they gold investors? Are they stock investors? Are they just people scared, you know, or survivalist people, end of the world people? I don't know. So it wasn't that great. It wasn't that great of a conversion. It wasn't, you know, I track all this stuff. It didn't convert that well. The landing page, and this was, affiliates were going to this. I was testing it. So after a few weeks, I changed what was going on there. And here's another ad I tested, the one below that. Attention, are you new to gold investing? Click here, grab your free guide to learn how to buy gold safely. So who are we targeting there? People new to the gold market. And then they get a gold guide deal. And I was trying to use this to get Regal affiliates, or Regal buyers, the Regal net affiliate program you're probably familiar with, or heard about at least. Well, okay, I got some traffic, they get the guide, I'm building my list, but I can go one step even further than that and really target some people. So boom, we go down to the more targeted ad. Yes, you can have real physical gold in your IRA. Well, what does this mean? Okay, this is someone that isn't simply new to gold investing, but someone who actually wants to take some sort of action and is thinking about that. Well, I really want that kind of lead. So I'm just showing you here 3 ads that I have run, and each ad successfully more targeted than the last one. And each ad more powerful than the last ad because it's better targeted. Just want to show you this concept and how I've had experience with it, and to give you some ideas or make you think about this kind of stuff. So let's move on. okay, you make your banner ad, you whatever, it could be one of these flashy images or something like one of those ones I just showed you. And again, they both work. It's just, it's actually best to experiment with both. And that's one of the beauties of this type of advertising, is that you can run literally as many, you can make 10 banner ads and see which one works the best. In fact, you should do that. And then, and in fact, I often run more than one ad at once, try to get 2 or 3 converting very well, and go with that. You know, I usually don't just stick with one ad. And of course, you're going to build different ad sizes and all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about, once you've got your ad, you know, where do we go from there? All right, we're going to talk about direct buys. We're going to talk about the ad networks, and then the Google Content Network, which is the biggest ad network. Then we're going to move on to landing pages and how to avoid the Google slap, which is going to be critical. And I'm going to teach you how to talk to Google first, so you never even have to worry about Google penalizing you. And what you're going to want to focus on once you start to apply this stuff is simply get one thing going. Get one thing going. There's so many places, there's so many things you can go to and try to advertise on. I don't advertise everywhere. I mostly do Google, and that's why I'm going to focus on that. But I know others who do Facebook, and that's all they do. And they tell me that they're getting leads cheaper than I'm getting them on Google. But I've used Google for years. Probably going to, I've tried Facebook a couple times and then had the success they've had. But I'll probably try it again, in a few months. It's been like 2 years since I messed with it. I personally anyway, I don't really like Facebook, to tell you the truth, but if I can get it to work and make me money, I'll like it a little better. And I've done direct buys too, so I'm going to tell you about these, but I'm not a Facebook expert. The point is, there's all kinds of ways you can advertise. We're just going to get things going, right? We just get one thing going, and then you can move out to other networks, other websites, other possibilities. So let me talk to you about direct banner buys. Okay, how do you do that? That's when you go to a big name website, and I've advertised on Newsmax.com. I'm not advertising them there. I don't have some sort of relationship with them, but I'm just going to use them as an example because they're a big website, and they're big for financial people, for my niche. They're good to advertise on, and I do have experience with them. So how do you do a direct banner buy? Like, you're going to go to Huffington Post or Newsmax or some giant website or whatever, or me even. I'll just delete the email because I don't do it because I'm too lazy. But what you do is you email the person and you say, I want your rate card. I want to advertise on your website. Give me your rate card. Then they're going to give you a rate card. It's going to show you how much it costs, per impression, basically is how they do it. And I've actually done print. It's just like if you want to advertise in a magazine, it's the same business. I've done that. Did that last year. And it's all in. One of the things about doing this is you make a list of sites and then you contact a bunch of them and you get their rate cards, and you'll see it's going to vary quite a bit. So last year I advertised in a couple print magazines for something, and one of them, I'll just tell you, one of them cost. It's just, when you start doing this, it's all over the board. I advertised for like $800 in a magazine with 10,000 subscribers to it. $600 another one for similar amount of subscribers. One has 30,000 and it cost me $1,000. And then I contacted another one, and this magazine cost $100,000 to advertise in, and it's got like 100,000 subscribers. That's insanity. And they weren't kidding. They would not lower the rate. So it could vary. When you do this, it varies all over the place. So that's important, because what that means is when you talk to these people, let them know that you are talking to other people, and you tell them, I want to do a test campaign. What that is telling them is that you're serious and that there's a potential for you to spend more money if the campaign works. Then they'll be like, oh, okay, you know, you're worth dealing with, right? And then by telling them, you must know that you have the ability to walk away. So you can say no if they are going to tell you some crazy price. And you also need to understand that the rate card often is not the real price. It's the sucker's price, and you can get them to lower it by 50%. So you get your test campaign, you run it, you see it, and then you tell them the truth about the results. If the results suck, you tell them. And then maybe they'll let you do another one at a lower rate. If the results are great, then maybe they'll offer to allow you to run even more ads, and so forth. And then you're going to want to build a relationship with the person you're talking to. This is all done on the phone, what I'm telling you. And always never be afraid to say no. Even if you're advertising somewhere for a very long time, never be afraid to say no. So anyway, I don't know why I'm mentioning Newsmax, but I've dealt with someone there for a couple years and did very well. And then they raised their rates, and I said, no, I'm walking away. So that's what happened. But you don't need to go through the trouble, though, of dealing with people directly if you don't want to. I don't, for the most part. There's websites that there are ad networks on where the websites do everything. And one of them is called sitescout.com. This is a network where advertisers list their sites with them, and then you can use the network to run your ads. And it's all done electronically and online. The Content Network on Google is the biggest one, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but SiteScout is one. I'll give you an example of how these kind of ad networks work right here. This is the Daily Paul. This is a fan website for Ron Paul, the libertarian dude that ran for president a couple times. I've advertised on this website because a lot of these people are gold bugs, and they're part of an ad network. So if you would go to this website and you click advertise, it takes you to this. This is an ad network website called iSocket.com, and it shows you the number of visitors they get per month, the type of ad spaces you can do. So and then you put your money with them and you run an ad campaign. I've done that through this website. It's called iSocket.com. And another thing you can do too, there's so many things with these banner ads. Another thing is retargeting, which is a popular thing people like to talk about a lot. I've done retargeting. That's where if someone hits a part of your website, you can then use an ad network that will put your ads on websites that are part of the network that follow the visitor around and keep trying to get them to come back to your website. So this is a retarget thing I did. I was doing a launch for my Power Investor, that's the paid membership. This ad would follow the people around and entice them to come back to the sales page. One thing about stuff like this retargeting, though, is that with this banner ad business or pay-per-click business in general, you'll see lots of internet marketing products if you're on lists where people will make out as if we've got this tactic, retargeting, that is, and talk about it as if it's like some sort of magic bullet that can make you a fortune. But in the end, retargeting is nice, but retargeting is not something you build a business on. And a lot of these things that you see getting promoted, are not like, there's no silver bullet when it comes to pay-per-click. There's no secret trick, there's no magic bullet, and pay-per-click is simple, all right? Pay-per-click is simple. This is what it is. You do a campaign, you get it to work, and then you roll it out. Bam, that's it, all right? How do you get it to work? What's it going to cost you to get something to work? $100 to get it to work, all right? $300, I'm saying this wrong to you, with Google and probably with all these other networks too. But if you use the Google Content Network, what I've done is I test the campaigns out on the Google Content Network. I test my banners out there, the landing pages out there, and then if I get something to work there, then I roll it out to direct buys where I'd contact the sites directly or other ad networks. But personally, I use the Content Network with Google for banner ads to test them out. You could do it with Facebook if you're, whatever. But generally speaking, if you want to test something out, to get it to work, it's going to cost you $100 a day for a week or so to get some results and get something, make sure it's working. Now, once you get beyond that point, it's going to cost you $300 a day to make that into a real business. For $300 a day, let's say you're getting opt-in leads for $5 a lead. For $300 a day, that's going to get you what? About 60 leads a day. If it's $5 a lead, that's enough to build a business off of. And if it's like one conversion a day, that's enough to get a business off of too, right? If you're just doing straight to a sales page, it's very possible. You're talking about, it's all a numbers game, right? Once you get something working, it's all math. It's simple. Can you get essentially a 1 or 2% conversion rate off the paid traffic? If you can, then you're literally turning money into more money. If you're doing that, all of a sudden, within a few weeks, you're not simply spending $300 a day out of your wallet. You're making profits and reinvesting it into more ads, getting more money, reinvesting it. It's rolling over. And if you get to the point where you can spend $1,000 a day, you're literally dominating a niche. That's the way this works. That's just the money investment of pay-per-click. $1,000 a day sounds like, my God, that's you're telling me I'm going to spend $30,000 a month? No, I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you that you're going to invest $100 a day for a week or something, and if you can get that to work. And if you can, and I think you can if you listen to these videos, if you then say, well, this is working, let's roll over these profits, or let's get a couple grand and be willing to invest that, and we're going to build a real business. Once that business is going and generating good profits, you can reach that $1,000 a day ruling a market, or dominating a market. Ruling a market's when you're combining this with SEO and Google authorship and communicating well, and that's ruling a market. We're dominating a market that's sucking all the traffic out, having a high converting offer. So let's go to the Google Content Network and really start digging into this stuff. Why are we going to focus on the Google Content Network? Because it's the gorilla. It is the biggest ad network out there. I think it's actually the cheapest one to use, actually, as far as getting results from, and in a certain sense the easiest. Although I think the Google website is clunky and a little tricky to learn. Once you learn it, it becomes easy. But I'm not going to try to show you or teach you what every link on Google does, or the easiest one thing for you to do in that sense. This is all about the strategy and the big picture and how to use these networks. I'm not really going to show you, I'm trying to teach you tactics and strategy. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, necessarily showing you how to go and open up an account. I think that's pretty simple, to do. It's pretty self-explanatory. You might want to get like a pay-per-click for dummies or Google for Dummies or something as a supplement to these videos, but this is really all about how to really make this stuff work, because that, as far as I know, that's not written down anywhere. These people don't tell you how to do that, and without knowing this, you can't get any of this stuff to work. But Google is the biggest network, but there's one serious problem with Google. and this is the problem. 10 years ago, when I first, I think it was about 10 years ago, 2003, 2004, 2002, somewhere in there, I was able to send traffic to a landing page. You get a 20% conversion rate. This is traffic from the banner ads. This is traffic from the search pay-per-click, the keyword pay-per-click, all of it. And this is how I did it. This landing page you see right here was all over the internet, and it was I don't know who started it, but David D'Angelo, the Eben Pagan Double Your Dating website, was the one that was famous for running it, and everyone essentially copied what he was doing, and this was the landing page. It was just a headline, and then a couple bullet points on what you're going to get, and then a paragraph, opt-in and opt-in, right? That's squeeze. It's called a squeeze page. You hit the landing page, you have no choice but to opt in or leave. And copywriting language telling you to opt in. That converted 20%, and then I ran that for a long time, and then I did a test campaign because I got bored, and I put a graphic sequence of starting with what I called a money baby on my website. And it converted well too. It has a picture of a baby, and it had a story about the baby below it. And I basically said, making money in the stock market is really easy. I'm a baby. I can do it. Opt in, and I'll help you. I'll help you do it. And that converted like at 20% too. And it was something I was running. So I was running pages like this, pages like that, and then all of a sudden, I started hearing stories of people running this page getting shut down by Google. Google would just ban their account for running this. And they didn't do that to me. I kept clunking around, running my stuff, and and other people running this too. But I was hearing stories from people. Oh, they're shutting me down. They're doing this and that. Then one day I got an email from Google and said they were banning me because I was. They sent me a really nasty email to the fact that I was committing fraud and was running a scam. So they banned my account, and I didn't know what to do. So I was shut out for like 8 months from pay-per-click advertising. All I had left was SEO traffic and writing articles for people and stuff like that. So it really it devastated my business. It didn't put me out of business, but it really cut down my revenue because I was in a magic situation where I was investing $1 and literally making $2 over and every month, So things changed. Google wants to know now before they run your advertisements whether you're doing banner ads or pay-per-click, and I think even SEO stuff. I think they manually review some of the websites in the big name categories. The high money search the categories like stock trading or insurance, or I think they manually review the sites and they want to know some stuff. I think definitely when it comes to pay-per-click, they want to know, are you a scammer? They want to know, are you someone selling make money, which they hate. They want to know, are you selling get rich quick, which they decided one day they hate too. They want to know, are you a fly-by-night scumbag? They want to know, are you providing people of any real value? Because that's what they want. They wanted to eliminate the shady people because they thought they were giving them a bad name, and maybe they were. But I wasn't. I never considered myself any of these things until, and then one day Google said I was. They told me I was, and they banned me. So what I found out 8 months later was someone told me, you can open up an account, a new account, which I did, and they said, talk to Google. And they showed me how, and I'll show you how in this video. They said, talk to Google about your website and find out really why they banned you, and then you can make changes and then get them to let you back in. And that's what I essentially did. And that's why I'm telling you this is what they don't like, because that's what they essentially told me, and I adjusted to them. They told me that my Money Baby was a fraud, that the Money Baby couldn't make money. Well, that was crazy, because my Money Baby wasn't real, you know. No one, I didn't intend anyone that went to that landing page to think the baby was a real baby, really making this money. It was a joke. But Google has no sense of humor. So I'm just telling you, don't try to joke with Google, because they won't laugh. All right, and that's fine. You don't have to be afraid of Google either, because you can talk to them. So just like I talked to him, and I said, okay, the baby's gone. Boop. The baby disappeared from my website, and then I said, Google, am I okay now? And they said, no, you're not okay. And I said, why am I not okay? They said, because you're talking about making money and get rich quick. They said, you're get rich quick. I was, what the hell? I'm talking about the stock market, you know. What was I doing to make them think that? Oh, okay. I had landing pages like this that said, I buy stocks. I was saying, I got stock picks. My stock picks go up. Opt in, I'll give you stock picks. It's actually pretty true. It is true, you know. I do buy stocks that go up. There was no deception. But I said, okay, I'll make Google happy, and I did something like this. I created a new landing page, and I said on there something like this. I said, I invest in stocks. I made good picks over the years. I made a good return on my investments, but nothing is guaranteed, and you can lose your ass if something goes wrong. In fact, you can lose everything you own and ruin your life if things blow up on you, and you can end up living in a garbage can. So I put that disclaimer along with a new landing page, and they said, okay, you're no longer get rich quick. So one solution to this is, what I'm trying to tell you is, do not create landing pages that are full of hype. Google won't like it. Don't promise you're going to make someone rich, and if you're going to talk about making money, put in a disclaimer there, okay? And I'll show you, I don't use this anymore, but one solution is humor. I don't do that now. I'll show you what I do in a second. But generally speaking, the more hype you use, the more you got to disclaim. So hype, so if you don't want to make these big kind of disclaimers like you see right here, hype a little bit, and then you disclaim a little bit. And I'll show you exactly what I do now. But bottom line, if you're selling make money stuff, whether that's internet marketing or investing or gold, anything make money, you got to be careful. Don't hype too much. I mean, it's hard not to talk about making money, right? I mean, you're trying to help people make money or whatever, but you know, just you got to keep things toned down. Be creative here, right? But Google said that's not enough. That's not enough. You can't. These landing pages are out. Google wants people to go to a website, or they decided they wanted people to go to a website where they don't just have one option of opt-in and give their information. They want to be able to click and see some stuff without having to opt in. And they want no fly-by-night operations. People are setting up websites like 5 pages on them, and all it is this form. So what Google wants, in addition, is they want what they call brands. They want really corporations. That doesn't mean you have to be, don't worry too much about that when I say that. Bottom line is they want websites of real content, no talk of make money, but you can work around that too if you're in those kind of markets. But the key is, what all this really amounts to is they want real websites. They want a website that has a nav bar on it and content on it. And the landing page has to enable people to go to that, find out who you are if they want to. Maybe they should have a disclaimer or something, a way to contact you, a nav bar with some more information, some links, more information, and a way to opt in. That's what you got to do nowadays. And I'll show you exactly what I do in a second. Here it is. So I went from something like this, basically, to this is what I run now. So you see the nav bar at the top. It's a real website. They can go to About Us. They can contact me. They can go to what you see on where it says Technical Analysis there, and Should You Buy Gold. Those are actually silo pages, and there's a banner at the top. So it's a so-called corporate website, or corporate looking, and there's the headline. There's the bullet points. Sign up for free stock trading newsletter. It may be difficult for you to read the bullet points, but it says we find stock picks using the two-food formula. Then I say this is no black box system. That's a way to say signal this is not get rich quick. And then the third line says you also receive free educational videos that will show you how to manage your risk using stop loss orders. See, I'm using the word risk, how to manage your risk. So I'm getting away, this is not promising get rich quick. I am still talking about stock picks, but I'm also talking about risk too. There's really no hype here. There's no, so this is the bottom line though. What I'm getting now is 10% conversion rates. So that's what these changes in Google have done over the last couple of years. But that's fine, Also, something that has also happened, though, is some of the pay-per-click costs that people are bidding on has dropped as a result of this, too. That's something that Google will not tell or announce because they don't want people to know that. They don't want investors to know that. They don't want people to own their stock knowing that. But I know that because I've seen it in my market. I assume it's happened in other markets, but the pay-per-click costs for some keywords, for some forms of advertising, have in fact dropped over the past 6 years because of these things. These forced lower conversion rates. I'm not trying to discourage you by everything I've told you. I'm trying to just tell you what you need to do, and don't be discouraged because this is golden stuff here. This is the bottom of the page. This is the top. If someone scrolls down, they'll see more links. Again, those are links that makes Google very happy. So Google is satisfied with this landing page, and I know that because I literally asked them before I used it, ran advertisements to it for their approval, and they gave it to me. So that's what we're going to talk about next, is how to avoid the Google slap. First of all, if you are slapped by Google, if your account is banned, normally they don't ban you right off. Usually they give you a warning. But if your account is banned, what you then have to do is basically open up another account. I've got to pause this because my battery's running low. Okay, I'll resume this. I had to plug the thing back in and get in my Google account too, because I want to show you. Whoops. How to talk to Google. Okay, first of all, what I was saying about the slap here, if your account is banned, basically what you're forced to do is open up an account in a different name. You can't do it in your own name or your own company if that's what you're using. You're going to have to use it someone else's name, another person's bank account or credit card, or another company. That's how serious they are. So that's what happens. That's how serious they are. And I would even suggest not using the same computer or even using it in the same house. That's how paranoid I am. That's what I do. So I created a whole new account on a whole new computer, a whole new company. I've got several companies, so that wasn't a problem. But it's just, you know, it's so much trouble it is to abandon your account. That's what you got to do. But that's life, you know. So that's Google. But anyway, you can avoid all that, so you don't have to be that scared of it. What you do is you create your landing page, and you ask Google, is this landing page acceptable? Is my landing page and website acceptable? So let me show you how to do that. You log in your account, and you can scroll over to the help area that's located right here. You're going to go to help. I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see it more clearly. You're going to go to help, and then you're going to go to help center. You got suggested articles for beginners, I think. Theoretically, you can email and call them too, but, well, I'm going to show you how to email the right person. Theoretically, you can call them, but I've never had luck doing that. I would try to call them, but I don't know if you can, because that's something new. In the past, I know there's no way you could call them. So I don't know if you can call them, but you can certainly do this. Okay, now let me go back. What did we do? We went to Help Center. Remember, I went to Help Center, and boom, this window loads up, and then you're going to scroll down to Advertising all the way to the bottom. So they hide things. AdWords Advertising Policies. You click that. And then they're going to say all this stuff about what they want, blah, blah, blah. They want accurate ads, all this kind of business. The Google brand and all this. You're going to click User Experience. They're going to tell you what they want. Then you're going to say, what about my website? They want back buttons to work. They don't want pop-ups. No pop-ups. In destination URL, that's your landing page. You can say, this is what we want. But how can you be sure, you know? Because if you don't obey, they get very angry. And they don't have much mercy either. You're going to contact AdWords support at the bottom. After, you got to go to this page first. You got to get here first. And then you contact AdWords support, and they know it's going to be directed to this division or whoever it is that handles this specific question. That's why you have to take all these steps. You can't just go to AdWords support somewhere else. You got to go through all these steps. Then you're going to tell them your name. You're going to tell them your email. You can try to give them your phone number. To do this, you're going to create an ad campaign first, which will give them your landing page in there, but you pause the campaign. You don't run it. You just create the campaign, so you'll be able to tell them the ad group that you're in, the campaign name. So you've created the advertising campaign before this step. You just have it on pause. You don't run it. It's just paused. And then you give them that information, and then in here you say, hey, I just started, you know, and campaign. And I started my campaign, started my landing page. I want to make sure I've got I'm obeying the policies, and you give them the URL of your landing page right here. Do you approve of this? Is this acceptable? And if they say yes, you have nothing to worry about. And then you go back to your campaign. It'll probably take them a couple of days. Then you log back in, you resume, you're going. and I'll show you how to create these campaigns soon, in probably the next video. If they say no, they'll tell you exactly why they don't like it, and you change it, and then you go back and do this again until they say go. So you do this, you communicate with them this way, you avoid the Google slap. It's possible you can call them on the phone, but even if you can call them on the phone, I would prefer to do it this way because it's all in writing then, you know. There's no, there you go. So this is we're getting into the nitty-gritty. The next video, we'll get to the next level. Okay, Mike here. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of Google pay-per-click strategies. I'm going to show you exactly how I run successful Google pay-per-click campaigns. And I'm not going to really talk to you about how to set up a Google account, how to set up a campaign, because you can find that information for free on YouTube if you just type in specific questions, and Google explains it in its help area too. And really, when you look at internet marketers and what they're selling you, for the most part, that's all they're teaching is the basics and repeating this stuff. But what I'm going to show you is how to make this actually work, because I don't think anyone really teaches that, at least not that I know of. And this is what I can really help you with. You may be wondering, though, in all this, why am I so focused on Google? And the thing is, there are other banner ad networks and ad networks in general. I talked about that in the first video. There's Facebook, of course, and there's Bing search. And Bing works almost identical to Google. The strategies I'm going to tell you in here apply to Google. I don't know so much if they apply to Facebook, but they do apply to Bing. The thing is, I've used Bing myself, but I think Bing is a little bit more difficult to use. It's not user-friendly at all. The good thing about it, though, is it's cheaper if you can get it to work for you. The ad costs are about 25% cheaper, is what I've found. Before I get into this, I want to make one last note. When I talked about the landing pages in the last video, of course, if you are advertising using direct banner ads and some of the ad networks, they're not picky at all about what landing pages to use. But I will really am focused on Google with you because that's what I use, and I'm going to teach you stuff that I've learned from experience. Also, Google is the biggest source of paid traffic and search traffic. So if you can master Google, then you can roll out elsewhere. And I want to tell you also that the idea of mass cheap traffic is pretty much a myth. You also see that claimed by people that you can get hits on the penny and so forth. But frankly, that's pretty much worthless, and you're not going to get hits on the penny from Facebook or Google or any pay traffic. The hits on the penny comes from pretty much worthless services, and you don't want to focus on that. The idea of penny traffic. What you really want to focus on when it comes to pay traffic is reaching your ideal customer. And you do that with action keywords. If you're going to bid on the search results ads that you see when you type in search keywords, you see them on the side and the top. If you're going to bid on that, and we're going to talk about that in a second, you want to focus on the keywords that will reach your ideal customer. You want to call out the people that you want to read your ads and your materials and so forth. And then your other goal is to get a low cost per acquisition for your ideal customer. CPA, I'm going to use that abbreviation for cost per acquisition in this video. That's the term Google uses and the other ad networks too. So how do you achieve this? And the thing is, if you can achieve this, you're going to get the cheap pay-per-click costs. If you go and use the Google keyword term, you can type it in and get it to show you what the average cost per click is for various search engine keywords. And if you look at the banner ad network that they have, the content network, they call it placements, you can see what the average cost is per click to advertise on different websites. What I'm going to teach you in this video, if you apply this, will enable you to get bid costs per click from 50% to even down to a quarter of the average cost. So that's true cheap traffic, and not traffic on the pennies that's pretty much worthless, but purely targeted traffic. And that's how my advertising is so successful for me, because I use the strategies that I'm going to teach you. And you do this by pleasing Google. If Google is happy with you, they see you as a serious customer that provides them with a lot of clicks with your ads, they're going to reward you with low cost per click. If they think you're not serious or your ads don't get a high click-through rate, they're going to charge you more money. What Google wants from you, and Facebook and Bing too for that matter, so this concept applies to them also, they want a high click-through rate. It's pretty simple. That's how they make money, right? So if you create ads, let's say, that generates 1,000 clicks in a day, and someone else is out there advertising too, and they're only getting 100 clicks a day with your ads. Well, for those people to make as much money for Google as you are, they're going to have to charge them 10 times as much. In other words, if your ads get a high click-through rate, Google and Bing and Facebook too are going to reward you with lower cost per click. So that's what you really want to focus on. And Google has something called a quality score that they rank your ads with. If you go into a Google account, you'll see campaigns and then ad groups and then ads. And they rank your account as a whole by all your advertising, your account history. They look at your campaign, which ad groups are a part of, and then the individual ads in there, even down to the keyword. If you got keywords in there or websites, everything is ranked by what they call quality score. And you can even see the quality score rankings if you go inside the ad groups and your specific keywords. And it's a 1 through 10, and generally speaking, you want to be 7 or up. Below that, and Google's going to charge you more money. If you're 7 and higher, you're going to get a discount, and the discount can become very substantial. And when you achieve a substantial discount, a high quality score, then you essentially dominate the competition. And I'll show you how that works. You'll realize it as we go through this video here. So this is what you've got to focus on, achieving the high click-through rates, and then you're going to get rewarded. But to do this, you need an ad strategy, which most people do not have, and it's not taught. Most people come into one of these paid ad networks thinking, well, I want the cheapest traffic as possible, so I'm going to bid low, and they're just going to give that to me. They don't know who I am. They don't know what my ads are capable of, and that doesn't work. And that's why most ad campaigns fail. But once you take these tactics I'm showing you and get it going, and you get a successful campaign going, you will not have to do much afterward to keep it going. I'm spending right now at this moment over $1,000 a day in paid advertising with Google, and I don't even look at my campaign every single day. I'm not going to even look at it today. I didn't look at it yesterday. I haven't looked at it in 5 days. And when I do look at it, most of the time I don't even change anything because it's running, it's working. You don't, once this stuff works, you really don't have to do a whole lot. Someone asked me the other day, am I hiring someone to run my campaigns and my paid advertising? The answer is no. because it doesn't take much work, and I'm not going to trust that to somebody, and I'm not going to pay extra money for someone to do something that doesn't take me but 15 minutes a week at the most to do. So that's that. And you're going to get to that point too, if you really take this stuff and run with it. So let's talk about the ad strategy and how you create a successful ad campaign. What do you have to do to get the high click-through rate, and then go on from there? Okay, the first thing you got to do is when you start an ad campaign on any of these networks, you've got to think of it at first as an experiment. And if you can get the experiment to work and be successful, then you're going to be rewarded. But you got to think of it as an experiment, and it's going to cost you a couple $100 if you do the Google keyword search advertising that shows up in the search results, and that's where we're going to start right here. So here's how you do it. The first thing you got to do is you create multiple. You've already got your landing page. We talked about in the last video. You've asked Google, is this landing page good? They've come back, they said yes. So the landing page stuff's straight. Okay, so here's how we roll out the ad campaign. The first thing you got to do is you create multiple ads. 3's pretty much a good number, and you've got them linked to your landing page. You've told Google what keywords you wanted to use these ads for, and I would suggest picking some big keywords and then some very specific keywords linked to that, not to like go and type a whole bunch of unrelated things. So for example, if I have an ad, let's say about stock picks, okay, I would say something like, I got a landing page about opting in to get my stock picks. The ad could say something like, you know, go here for great stock picks. Another one, top 10 stock picks, and so forth. And then the keywords could be great stock picks, good stock picks, free stock picks, various variations using the word stock picks. And then I'd also just put the word stock picks in there, and Google will take that and make its own combinations. But I would put all these combinations in there, like 20 or 30 of them. So I got the keywords in there. I got multiple ads. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to focus on clicks, getting the most clicks that you can in this experiment that's going to go on for a couple of days. Okay, and you're going to see an option. I'll show this to you in the next video, but there's an option in when you set up a campaign that you can focus on various different things, and you're going to tell Google you just want to focus on clicks, maximizing the number of clicks for the money you're going to spend. Now here's the secret, okay, which people don't do, and it's necessary. You're going to do something a little bit that may sound scary or out of the box. When you research this stuff and you figured out what keywords you want, you're going to see average cost per click for the keywords and so forth in the keyword planner tool, which I'm sure you've got experience using for keyword research. Okay, that's the average cost people pay. And we get this stuff right and your experiment's successful, you're going to pay half that much, even down to a quarter. Okay, but that is the average price people are paying. The reason why they're paying that average price is because they don't know this stuff I'm teaching you. I mean, this is the money. This is it, man. Okay, but to achieve that, you're going to do something that people don't do. You are going to bid sky high on what you want to pay. You're going to bid twice as much at the bare minimum, and 3 times as much is really what you ought to do. So let's say this stock pick thing, the average cost per click is $2. Well, I'm going to tell you flat out, I think it is $2. Well, I pay less than $1 when I bid on that. When I got a successful campaign going and it's not paused and it's running, I pay less than $1. Sometimes I pay 75 cents. But to do that, I start out bidding 6. If you don't do this, your campaign will go nowhere, and Google will consider your campaign to be low quality. Why would that happen? Okay, let's take a look at the stock pick search results. Notice these are the ads, 1, 2, 3, right? The top 3 spots, and these are the spots on the sidebar. If you bid $6, 3 times as much as everyone else, your ad's going to appear right here at the top, right at the get-go. If you don't do that and you say, hey, I want to pay average because I just want to, or I'm going to even bid below that because I don't know what I'm doing, that's what you're telling Google. I don't know what I'm doing. And Google's going to, this program is going to say, well, you're a low quality advertiser, your ads suck, they're not tested, we're not even going to put them on the front page. And there's like, you see the ads on the front page, well, for these high traffic terms, there's like 100 people bidding. You can, if you click the second, third, fourth spots, you'll see all the other people bidding that are essentially failed campaigns. And you're going to start out as a failed campaign. And if you start out as a losing campaign in this game, the campaign will never become a winner. And that's what happens to most people who try this paid advertising stuff. So you cannot start out at the bottom or over here. You got to start out at the top. The bad news is that this top spot, the actual traffic that comes from it is actually low quality. It doesn't convert very well at all. It sucks. And I think the reason why is the people are just kind of mindlessly hitting it, not even reading it, or it's just bad. It's a bad spot. Okay, but that's okay. We're not going to do this, but for a few days. It's an experiment, right? And the goal is not to maximize conversions yet. The goal is to run a successful ad for a few days, so Google will say, "Holy cow, this ad has got a high click-through rate. It's fantastic." That's the goal. High click-through rate for an ad. So you do this for 2 days. You got your multiple campaigns going, and you invest $100 a day for these 2 days. All right. And what you're going to do after 2 days is see which of these ads work the best. You need as high as possible click-through rate for the winning ad. You need at least 3% or higher, and 5% or higher is really great and really what you want to see. Why? And you need to have a high click-through rate. If you've got your ad running at the top spot and it's only got a 1% click-through rate, that is a disastrous ad. That's an ad that is in the top spot, and you know how important it is to be at the top spot in the natural search results. Imagine being the very, 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 very top spot and getting a 1% click-through rate. That's a failed ad. And that's okay. That's fine. If every single ad is a failed ad, then you have just spent $200 and discovered that these ads will never work for you and they're disasters. And that's fine. You then go and create new ones, or move on to a different keyword, because there are some instances where the keyword itself is a tough one to get people to click for whatever reason. It's just not a money-making keyword. So that's just the way things go. And in fact, if you type various keywords in the search engine here, you'll find that there's some that hardly anyone is advertising on that get high traffic, and that's part of the reason why, probably. So let's say day 3 hits. You've looked at your quality score, and you've got a winning campaign. You got a 5%, or you got a winning ad. You got the 5% click-through rate or higher. Hey, maybe you get 7%, even 10%. It's even possible. And you have just showed Google that you've got a great ad and you know what you're doing, and Google loves great ads. Google loves high click-through rates. That's what Google absolutely loves, and they're going to reward you for this. And now you start to lower your bid. Now you're going to continue to ignore conversions. Our goal at this so far, Your experiment has been a winner, but our goal has now changed. Our goal now is to get the cheapest amount of, the highest number of clicks we can get at the cheapest price we can get them at. So we're going to do that by lowering our bid. What essentially is going to happen is your bid is already going to, Google's automatically going to lower the cost per click for you. So let's say we're doing the stock picks. We start at $6 and we got a great ad going. Google's not going to charge us $6. Remember, $2 is average. The top spots, you're essentially outbid everybody by doing the $6. That's the whole point. And Google's going to say, hey, you did a great job there, and they're going to lower the bid or lower your costs already. You can speed up that process now. You log in your account, and you say, I don't want to pay the $6 anymore. You lower the price to what you just paid the previous day. So maybe you're paying, your bid was $6, but now you're paying $5. Now you lower the bid to $5. And then the next day comes, and now you're paying $4.50. You lower the bid to $4.50. And you keep doing this day by day by day. It really doesn't take very many days here. Now here's your goal when we're doing this. You want to lower your bid until you drop down to the 3rd spot or over here, the top 4, 5, 6 spots. You want to be in 3 to 6. And here's the reason why. In my experience in doing this advertising, these are the money-making spots, or the best spots to be in. Remember, spot 1, the traffic really is kind of bad. It doesn't convert well. Pretty much the same thing happens with spot 2. Spot 3, that's really not a problem anymore. And these spots, it's not a problem at all. And if you get into these spots and you just bid for here, your costs per bid are going to drop. So what I do is I keep day by day lower the average cost, until I'm in these spots. And now you've got a winning campaign. And you're probably paying average price at this point or even below it. And as time goes on, about a week, let's say, generally speaking, you'll be paying a substantial discount below the average cost. Now, over time, it's not that difficult to stay in this area, okay? Over time, you may slip, but even if you slip, the campaign is still going to be functioning just fine. Google knows it's a winner. They're not going to penalize you. They're not going to raise your cost per click. Nothing like that's going to happen. The only danger is if bid costs go up, more people come into the game, because this is competitive game here. If more people come in the game and you get bumped off this front page, then the campaign is in trouble, and you're going to have to start over. You're going to have to create new ads. You're going to have to raise your bid to get back up on this front page or something. But that doesn't really happen that often. It's something like could happen in a year, basically. It's actually, it doesn't happen that often. A winning campaign tends to stay here on the front page for quite some time until you stop it. You pause it or just stop spending or run out of money or something in your account. But that's the trick, to bidding. And this is the key. If you don't do this and you just bid average, this is what will happen. If you just say, hey, I'm really good at my ads, and you just bid average, Google's going to end up raising your bid costs. After your costs will go up. You're gonna have to bid more and more and more and more and more just to stay on the front page or wherever you're at. So that's the ironic thing. If you bid low at the start or average price, to get a campaign to work, you're going to have to spend more and more and more and more over time. You'll have to do the opposite of bidding up for a few days, then bidding down. So in the long run, this is how you get the cheapest traffic possible. If you try the opposite, you waste money completely, and you'll never get cheap traffic. So now what do we do? You've got the great campaign going, and so forth. Now you can see what's happened. You've spent a couple $100 a day, and you've won. So now, if you want to, you can increase the investment of your ad spend if that's possible. Depends on the traffic for the keyword, and roll this out. And now you're going to focus on your conversion rates. You can look and see the data if particular ad spots have better conversion rates than other ad spots, and you can tell Google just to bid on that one spot or keep you in that spot if you want to. And again, I'm going to emphasize that spots 1 and 2 for the most part are a total waste of money. And you've got hardcore conversion data by this point. You know basically what it costs you to get a lead or a customer from this paid traffic. And if it's good, you can increase your ad spend. And you can log in your account and tell Google to focus not on the cost per click but on CPA targeting. That's not really something you need to do with the keyword advertising, but that's something you do in the banner ad network, and let's talk about that. Okay, that's the other advertising alternative on Google. That's where you create banner ads and keywords too, or text ads, I should say. And they go out on websites in the banner ad network. And my website is in the banner ad network. You can advertise on my site through Google and target my website and become an advertiser there if you want. So here's how you do this. You create your banner ads, and you can use the same ads same text ads that you used in the keyword search. They've been tested by this point. I think keyword search is probably the best place to really start out, because the banner ad network actually costs more money to get it going, more than $100. It's more expensive to get it going. It really costs a couple $1,000s, but it's powerful, and it's a very, very important part of my business, my paid advertising. So here's how you do it. When you go when you do your search advertising, the paid search advertising, you give it keywords. Okay, and this, the best thing to do is target specific websites you want to advertise on. The biggest websites in the niche you're advertising on that run, that have Google ads on them. So you should know what those are if you're active in the niche and doing stuff. You just give Google those websites, and then you also give it the big keywords, and you don't have to worry so much about the keywords too much, because what Google's going to do is look for websites that are linked to the keywords. It's a little, you don't have to worry so much about the conversion rates of how these keywords are and all this kind of business. In the end, it's the websites we're going to be looking at as far as that goes. So I would type in, let's say, 20 high traffic websites, and then 20 keywords that are the most important ones in your niche. So I might trade stock trading, give them stock trading from my site, thestreet.com, Wall Street Journal, CBS Market Watch, and so forth. And you've got multiple banners going on. And here's what's going to happen. You can do the same basic thing that we talked about with the keyword campaign. You're going to bid high at the start. You can look and see what the average cost per bid is for these websites. You can do the same thing. You're going to bid 2 to 3 times as much. So let's say it costs $2 to bid on thestreet.com. I'm going to say $6 is my maximum pay-per-click that I want Google to bid. And these ads are going to run for a couple days. And then you're going to see the click-through rate. Now, the click-through rates are different for this. Much lower, because these ads are showing up on websites, not search results. Okay, and here's generally speaking what the levels you need to look at. You need to pretty much achieve a click-through rate around 0.10%. That's workable. It's okay. If you can do that, you're going to get lower cost per click. You're going to get a discount below the average that people are paying. If you get lower than that, you probably won't get a discount at all. And if it's too low, they're going to force you to pay more than other people are paying, and you don't want that. That's a disaster. So you want a 0.10% click-through rate for your ads. You think you can do that on websites? Look, if you can't do that with your ad, it pretty much means the ad sucks. So it's pretty amazing to think about this. I mean, it's amazing that so many people run these ad campaigns and fail just because they've got a terrible ad, and then they just give up. And it's not that tough, man. So that's why you test multiple ads. Okay, but here's the deal. If you can achieve a click-through rate of 0.3%, which, you know, isn't that high, that's good. And now you're almost certainly going to get lowered click costs. Pretty much 50% is what I pretty much experience. So if the average cost per click is $2 for people, and I'm getting 0.3%, I'm now getting about $1 per click, half what everyone else is getting, which beats the pants off the competition. Now, if you can achieve 0.5%, which is very, 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 very difficult to do, you will then get super low click costs, like 1/4 of average cost. Now, this is very hard to achieve, and I rarely ever achieve it. So there you are. I mean, I don't really even try to achieve it. If I hit it, then I'm ecstatic, and and so forth. So here's the key to success from all this stuff, though. The strategies I've given you, of course, is key to just getting the traffic. And it's not hard. This is pretty much easy stuff. But in the long run, a key to a successful campaign is an offer that converts. If you have a high converting offer, and you combine that with low cost per acquisition from the paid traffic, which is key and not difficult to achieve, then you're going to win. But really, the low cost per acquisition isn't that tough. It's tough for people because they don't know what to do. So once you achieve that, there really isn't much more you can work on when it comes to these ad networks. Once the campaigns are successful and going, they pretty much run themselves. Like I was telling you before, I only look at my Google AdWords account once or twice a week for like 15 minutes. So what that means is what you really have to play around with is your offer and getting that to convert better and maximizing the money that way. Having an offer that converts, perhaps selling multiple things, but at the very least asking for money quite often. Having offers that convert and asking for people to buy stuff very often. And then getting the traffic. That's the key to making money. And the offers may be your offers, or they may be affiliate offers, or both. So here's a bit of a paradox. You want to, in the offers you're promoting, whether yours or others, the ones that work the best have a unique selling proposition. But what's magic is you can see what other people are doing in the Google search results, the keyword results, and get a good feel for what's working in your market. But then you need to dare to be different. You just need to learn to convert. You can monitor the pay-per-click ads and you'll see what's going on in the niche. And here's what you're going to find. Again, we're looking at the stock picks. What you're basically going to find in these, what you're going to find when you monitor the pay search results are three things. First, you're going to see companies large corporations, for the most part, that are bidding for the top spots, and you know from the knowledge of what it takes to make a successful campaign that bidding on the top spots isn't really profitable. It's not the most efficient use of your money. But since these people are doing it all the time, they obviously don't care. They just seemingly have unlimited money. These people in the stock market world are spending millions of dollars a month. And most of the money is pretty much wasted, and they don't give a darn about that. The other thing you're going to notice, and that's fine, that's not to be scared, that's not to scare you. What you're going to find is that in any of these spots, it's only like a few of these giant companies doing this. So they're not like ruling all the paid spots here. The other thing you're going to see is people at the bottom, for the most part, coming and going constantly. A lot of turnover at the bottom, some up here, but not that much, but a lot of turnover at the bottom. And those are the people that are trying to enter the paid search campaign and failing because they don't know how to bid. They don't know how to test ads. They don't know what they're doing. And you're going to, in a real active niche like the stock trading world, it's a constant turnover of people down here. They may be up here for a week, and then they just vanish. And then you're going to see other names, usually in these spots, 3 to 3, 4, 5, sometimes down at 6, 7. But these spots that are fairly stable, and they may be sitting there for months, maybe even years. And that's basically where you want to be. And some of these people are like me sometimes, in the sense that they're just individuals that know these techniques, and they're not giant companies or anything. And you can be there. Now, in the next video, there's a couple little tricks I got to show you that Google, that you need to know about, because they're essentially money pits that Google has created. I call money pits. They've created this in the past couple years to maximize the amount of money they're making at your expense and my expense and everyone else's expense. That makes your ad campaigns more expensive than they should be, and I'm going to show you how to avoid them, which, if you're running these things like I am, could save you literally tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, I want to show you a couple things in this video inside of a Google AdWords account that you need to be aware of. First of all, we'll get to the simplest thing. You need to track the conversions on your website. So if you're doing opt-ins, what you're going to do is put a piece of conversion code onto the page that people go to after they type in their email address. Or make one and put this code on it. So to do that, you go to Tools, then you go to Conversions and get the code, and then after that, Google will track it. Whenever traffic comes from an ad, if that traffic ends up going to that conversion page, it'll be counted, and you'll need that data as your campaign goes on, as you'll eventually want to switch to it. Now let's talk about, real quickly, starting a new campaign. And I, generally speaking, do a search network only campaigns or display network only campaigns and separate the two. But let's assume we're doing a search network. I don't really want to go too much in depth into how to set up a campaign. I think that's something you should either know how to do or find videos on YouTube for free that will tell you how to do that. I'm more interested in teaching you some of the tricks, but we'll just do, for the sake of discussions, a sample campaign name. We're going to do search network only, and I, generally speaking, don't do the search partners. I only search only on the Google Search Network. And this is the thing I really want to show you in this video, is devices. By default, Google will put your ads on telephones or mobile phones, iPads, and desktops. But here's the thing. The desktops convert the best. Then you got iPads, and I found that the cell phone and smartphones are almost totally worthless, the traffic from them. But Google by default wants you to spend as much as they can get you to spend on the telephone traffic and the cell phone traffic, because they know a lot of traffic's going there and they want to make as much money as possible from you. So you need to limit the ad spend going to cell phones as much as you can. And I'm going to show you how to do that. You know, once you've, again, after that, you can put in the countries that you want to do. Generally speaking, I either do only the United States or US and Canada for my market. Target people only in English. Now here's your bid options. At first, you're going to want to focus on cost per click bids, and you're going to manually set that to a very high level, 2 to 3 times as much above average. In fact, I explained the bidding strategy in the previous video. But once you have a campaign going on and it's successful, and you get 50 or so conversions, if you decide to, you can then switch and tell Google to focus on conversions. You got to have the conversion data for the coming in for the campaign, and then you can tell it to target a price level on the conversions. That's very, very useful when it comes to the banner ad network, what they call the content network, because once you do that, after a week or so of conversion data, and your bids by then will be falling, you can then switch to focusing on conversions, and then at that point the campaign will be running pretty much in autopilot. Google will be looking at the cost per click you're paying and how well the various sites that you're advertising on convert for you, and they'll adjust it all automatically for you based on the average cost you tell them you want, or the maximum cost you're willing to spend. So here we get down to the default bid when you're starting out, and let's just say I'm going to say $6 and a $100 budget per day. I'll save, continue, and now you're going to start an ad group, and we'll just say stock trades, and then I'll give it keywords related to stock trading, stock trades, and so forth. Start with 20 of them. They give you suggestions, but we'll just do 2. Continue to ads. Now they'll ask us to a display URL, which usually I just use my own website. The destination URL is HTTP. It's going to be your landing page, and then headline for your ad. Click here. You're going to, of course, want a better headline than that. Super stock picks, opt-in free report, something to that effect, and then you save. And don't ever click this. Don't ever click this unless you got some specialized page just for the mobile devices. Now I'm going to cancel because I don't really want to make this campaign. And I got to show you one and very, very important trick here. Now, you want to cut back as much as possible the traffic from these telephones. And to do that, you go to settings, make sure, and then devices. Once the campaign is set up, then you hit devices, and you can adjust the bids you're willing to pay. You can raise them or lower them. So here we go to mobile devices with full browsers. I hate spending on that, so I decrease my bid for that by 90% or something. So a $10 bid becomes $1, and there you are. You can even decrease it by 99%, or well, maybe you can't. 95%. Please enter a larger number. Okay, 90%. Once you do that, though, you essentially, you're bidding so low that they won't send you any traffic from that. So that's what I do, and this can save you a lot of money, because I'm telling you, if you're sending people to a regular website that's not optimized for these browsers, you're totally wasting your money. So adjust the bid to way below average bid, and you won't send the traffic there. Now, here's one of the reasons I think the traffic that comes from these devices is a waste of money. First of all, people don't have much time, to type in their email address or take their credit card out and purchase something, much less read a sales letter if you're sending them to that. But I think a lot of times people just simply click things by accident, especially big ads that show up on websites when they're using the phone. And that's why, one of the reasons, the traffic turns out to be worth nothing. So do this. It'll save you a lot of money. In fact, I think it's a money pit to avoid. So that's a quick look into an AdWords account, and a couple things I just wanted to show you that you need to be aware of and adjust. Hey, Mike here. Today we're going to talk about some common email list questions that I get from people quite often in my niche, what I'm doing, running businesses and so forth. And they're going to help you as you build your list or manage it. So one of the most common questions I get is, how frequently should you email your list? And a lot of people, frankly, are scared to email their list because they're afraid that people are going to not want to be emailed a lot. They're going to think you're a spammer or hyping them up or whatever. And you don't want spam complaints. That is certainly true. And people simply don't like to get negative feedback from the people on their list. But here's the deal. The answer is you want to email as frequently as you possibly can. The reason why is, if you don't, people will forget who you are. And if they forget who you are, then they're going to assume your emails are spam or you're some sort of scammer, and they won't like that. If you email a lot, people get used to seeing the emails, they get used to opening them, and they come to become more familiar with you and see you as someone that they can trust. So I think you should email people at least once a week. That's what I do. And ideally more often than that. If you don't email once a week, then I think you're getting yourself into a dangerous situation where people are going to complain about your emails as being spam. Now, if you're just going if you're trying to send out an email and get the most clicks possible in terms of frequency for each individual email, what I've found is that 48 hours is the sweet spot. In other words, when I write an individual email, after 48 hours go by, the emails don't seem to get very many clicks. So one argument you could make is you should send out an email every 48 hours. I don't do that myself. Because I tend to email people when I have something to say, when I make a post. Look, ideally I would be doing it every 48 hours, but I'm a one-man show, so I do an email at least once a week, and sometimes more than that, or often more than that, sometimes every day if I got a promotion going on. But I just want to tell you, email at least once a week. 48 hours is every 48 hours is kind of a sweet spot too, and every day is good also. Just email frequently. And again, another question is, how can you cut down on spam complaints? Again, email frequently. Email frequently is the answer to that. And I want to tell you a trick also that I do that I haven't seen anyone else do. If you use Aweber, and almost every email list service will allow you to do this, you can insert things inside the email, like someone's name, someone's email address, the unsubscribe button, And what I do is after my email, I put the unsubscribe button right there, right after my text, and then put a bunch of spaces, and then at the bottom of the email, Weber puts in an unsubscribe link and a spam complaint link. So I actually have two unsubscribe links. One I manually put in, and then Weber's way on down. Doing that cuts down on spam complaints, because most people will see mine first, and then they'll see the Weber one, which gives the option to file a spam complaint much further down. How can you cut down on unsubscribes? That's another question people ask quite a bit. And frankly, I don't think you should worry about unsubscribes at all. I don't mind if someone unsubscribes from my email list. In fact, I think it's a good thing. I want people to make a decision of whether they want to move off my free email list and become a pay member of my service, or just get off completely. One or the other is fine by me. And you got to pay money to send people, your emails for free. It doesn't really cost anything, but if you're sending emails out to tens of thousands of free people, it does cost something. And, in the long run, if someone's going to be on my email list for 10 years and never do anything, I don't care. It's kind of silly at some point, right? But that's not so you shouldn't even focus on unsubscribes and really worry about them at all. Now, I want to tell you something kind of interesting. I did a statistical test the other week, and I've got people on my email list that have been on there for 10 years, some even longer than that. And I did a test where I sent a single email out to people who've been on my list for a month, and then I segmented the list. And then I sent the same email out to people who've been on my list for years, and not in the past 10 months. So old subscribers, and then people who've just been on for the past month. And I found, interestingly enough, that 1/4 of the clicks came from the people that have been on for a month. What this suggests is that most of the attention to your communications via email is going to come from people that have only been on the list for a short amount of time. And as time goes on, the people that you're emailing aren't going to open your emails. One simple reason is that their email address is going to change, and then they're not going to get the emails anymore, or they're going to get flooded. They're going to join other lists, and then you're going to be in competition, or simply, what you're saying is no longer going to be necessarily new to them. So really, it's the new people that are the best ones to focus on, I think, in your emails and in your sales letters and whatever you're making money with on your list. So that's an interesting thing, which has lots of implications to it. What is the best way to communicate with people on a list? Well, that depends on what you're trying to do, and who you're trying to attract on your list. Okay, if you're trying to sell something to the most amount of people possible, then in the shortest amount of time possible, then frankly, you may want to use lots of hype and lots of high-pressure sales tactics. You may want to go follow people like Dan Kennedy or Frank Kern and really examine closely what they're doing. Maybe, some of these really high-pressure internet marketers are people who teach real high-pressure sales tactics. But I don't do that. And the reason why I don't do that is, I say that not in a judgment. I'm not trying to say that's the wrong thing to do. And again, it's what are you trying to do? That's the true question, right? And I am not trying to attract the most amount of people possible into what I'm selling. And the reason why is because I'm selling a subscription product membership to an investment advisory service. And I want the people that join my service to stay for a long amount of time. And they do. The average person stays for 12 months. That means for every person that joins and quits in a month, there's someone staying for 2 years. And that translates into a big revenue stream for me and for affiliates who promote my service. And I charge $97 a month. And frankly, the average person on the street is not the person I want in my service, because they're not willing to put up $100 a month. And the average stock market player is more interested in chasing after trading robots and stuff that's kind of dubious. But the thing is that I don't want to build a business on that, because those type of customers blow up and they don't last, and they're not the people I want in my life. So that's a question you want to ask. If you are having a business where you are willing to communicate with people one-on-one and really build a solid relationship that's going to be long-lasting, then you want to treat people well, you want to treat them with respect, and you want to market to people that are of high caliber. But if you're trying to sell people trading robots and flash in the pan type stuff, which exists in every type of marketplace, then you're going to communicate with people differently. Again, I don't say these things in judgment. I say these things in order to say there's all kinds of ways you can communicate with people, and you've got to choose the way that you want to do it. How can you tell if your emails are working? Well, there's different metrics. I don't really pay any attention to click-through rates or open rates. Oh, you may say, well, how in the world can I say something like that? Because there's two things that really matter to me. The most obvious one is the bottom line. Are my emails resulting in sales or not? Click-through rates matter no bit when it comes to the bottom line. I want sales. I want revenue. I want conversions. Conversions in the sense of people converting from my free email list into becoming a real paid customer, a high value person in my business. And I provide them with value too, to make them into a high value person for me. But there's another interesting way to tell if your emails are working also, and that's to see what kind of replies you get. If you don't get any replies at all to your emails, that's a sign that people aren't being provoked. You're not making a connection with people that are opening your emails, and that's not good. That's not good at all. I want feedback. I want people to ask me questions, and I get emails from people that get angry at me, and that's good too. And the reason why these people get angry is because I'm in a market, a stock trading, gold investing, in which people have strong opinions. And right now, as we do this video, I'm very bullish on the gold market, but there are people that bet against gold. They short gold stocks, they short gold, and they want to make money from gold falling or stocks falling. And I'm someone that makes these people angry, so I get emails like that. And if I didn't get emails like that, I'd be very worried about the effectiveness of my email messages. I also get lots of emails from people asking me questions for an advice and this and that. If I wasn't getting these things, then I'd be very worried. And the truth is that week by week, this can vary. If I don't write an effective email or send people that click my emails to an effective message, I don't get many replies. But when my message is super effective and I strike a chord, I do. And that's one way I can measure how my emails are working or not. Now, here's another thing people ask me. Why, well, I'm going to tell you why you should read and answer emails yourself. What happens in my marketplace, and I think this is probably true of any market, is for every 10 email, I can get hundreds of emails from people happy, thanking me as paid customers, thanking me for what they're getting, happy with the results they're getting by applying the stuff I have to teach them, and on and on. But, I also get emails from people who want a refund. Sometimes I get email from people who are disappointed for whatever reason, or they made a mistake. And I get emails from people that aren't paying customers that are angry because of my opinions. And I have strong opinions about the stock market at times. And I even get, these type of things. And I talk to other people that have similar business to me, and a lot of people freak out when they get a negative email. They could get 100 positive emails, then they get one negative email from someone wanting a refund or whatever the case, and they freak out from that, and it causes them a lot of emotional distress. That's just the way our brains are wired. Our brains are wired, take the law of implication course, and you'll be able to think things in a more rational and clear manner. But the typical person is going to see one negative email, and it's going to short circuit their brain and cause them a lot of emotional distress, and they're going to freak out. This happens all the time. But you've got to realize that it's in the big picture, one negative email does not mean much at all. And in the end, you need to read and answer emails yourself. There are people that are going to tell you, hire someone to answer your emails, hire someone for customer support to do that for you. And the idea is it doesn't take much time to answer these things. I've got an email list of tens of thousands of people. I have a lot of paying customers, a lot, hundreds, close to 1,000. I get dozens of emails a day. There's times I've had 100 emails a day, and it does not take me very long to answer my emails at all. It's something I do pretty much every day, and it takes me 15 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. Look, I rarely get 100 emails a day. Usually it's a couple dozen. And it doesn't take, I don't write these long dissertations. Just answer emails. It's not time consuming. And if it's not time consuming for me, I don't think it's time consuming for other people. And they do not need to hire someone to answer their emails. They're only doing it in order to avoid this emotional distress that they get from the few negative email experiences they get from people. But you've got to read your answer and answer the emails yourself, because if you do it, you're going to understand what is going on in people's minds, in their brains, in the niche you're in. And in my niche, this is critical because the psychology of the niche changes month by month. And that's very important. So I know what to tell people. I know what people are worried about. I know how to address their worries. I know how to communicate with people. I'm on top of what's going on. And if I wasn't on top of what's going on, my emails, my marketing would be much less effective. And I'm in competition with other people with email lists who are not reading their emails. And that's that. So you may be saying to yourself, so you're telling me I need to read emails, I need to write lots of emails, and I need to do this a lot, more than once a month? I need to write as many emails as I can and read all this stuff? Gosh, this sounds like a lot of work. Yes, it is. And, look, in my business, my email list is the most critical component of it. I'm running a business, That's how I make money in this business, is by doing work. No, it doesn't take hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of work a week. But can I spend 15 minutes a day answering emails? Yes. Can I send out multiple emails in a week? Yes. There's no such thing as free money in internet marketing. You're not going to set up an email list and just have it run by free, and make you money for free. Traffic does not come out of the air and land on a website. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This takes work. If you don't, if you've mastered traffic and you don't want to run an email list, my suggestion is, get into an affiliate program like mine where the people will do that work for you, and split the efforts. That's what I do. I've got an affiliate program where I split the proceeds 50-50 with all the affiliates that send traffic. They send the traffic, I do the email list work, and the work of providing the product. So that's that. And that's the last thing I've got to say in this slide. But I want to, in the next presentation, talk about this from a bigger perspective. Affiliate marketing is one thing, and inside Project X, there's modules about various affiliate programs you can join and get into. Lots of opportunities. In fact, I'm testing some of them out and participating in some of them myself in related niches to mine. But I want to talk about this from a business perspective, from a perspective of using an email list to build a business, and talk about that in the next email. And I'm going to talk to you about who I think, as far as I know, the internet marketer who uses email lists in pay-per-click marketing to make the most amount of money. This is a guy that's worth billions of dollars. Billions. And I don't think anyone in the internet marketing world pays any attention to him at all. But I think he's probably the person who's actually made the most amount of money with all the techniques available. So we'll get on to that in the next video. Okay, Mike here. I want to do a little presentation with you about direct marketing businesses, email marketing businesses, because if you're going through this course or module so far, you're probably interested in building a business centered around email marketing. So I want to talk about that with you. First of all, email marketing is really a modern internet version of direct marketing, traditional direct marketing that's been around for, I guess, 100 years now, and it's basically direct mail through the mass postal mailer. And the market I'm in, stock market trading, gold investing, and so forth, really came into being in the 1970s through direct mail. People sent direct mail letters out telling people to pay to get monthly newsletters. And there were health advice things also created in the 70s. And these were niches that grew and then moved on over to the internet around 2000, really. So what I want to talk about and show you is that with the methods that you've learned about getting traffic and building email lists, you can pretty much create the type of business you want to create that fits your lifestyle and your personality. Some quick thoughts though. You need to get the law of implication, and one of the things David Mills talks about in it is the keys to internet marketing. And he says there's 3 components to it. 1 is a good offer that converts, 2 is traffic, and 3 is customer service. And if you can just master one of those, you can make money and win. And the thing is, 1 and 3 really costs nothing to do in terms of money. I'm good at 1 and 2. I do number 3, but I've got to say, you know, I answer my emails, but I don't do it instantly. I look only once a day. I don't have a telephone number for people to call, so I don't have like perfect customer service. But that's fine. I outsource number 3 if people want to talk to people to ClickBank. And you don't even need an offer that converts or customer service to make money in internet marketing. Bucket loads of free traffic can convert to money itself. But if you're really trying to create a huge business with one website or one product or whatever the case, if you do pay-per-click traffic and have number 1, you can make money. But if your offer doesn't convert, you'll end up losing money. So if you're doing pay-per-click traffic, your offers have got to convert. And then if it does convert, the pay traffic pretty much takes care of itself. It becomes an investment. If you can convert $1 worth of pay traffic to 2 because you're converting, you got the keys to the kingdom when it comes to pay traffic. So if you can master 1 and 2, you can be at the top of a niche. And it's all just a numbers game. But let's get deeper into this. Some ramifications for traffic success for mastering 1 and 2. If you're getting, and I've gotten from 10 leads a day to over 100 leads a day, and it varies depending on how much money I want to spend on pay advertising nowadays. But if you're getting 100 leads a day, you then become a dominant player as a mid-tier player in your niche. You know, I've got an email list right now of over 60,000 people on it. By the end of the year, it could easily be 100,000 people on that list, and who knows. But that makes me a major mid-tier player. But there's people with lists of 500,000 to theoretically 1 million. But I know the numbers, and I know that pretty much some of the biggest sites in my niche have about 500,000. I don't really know of anyone with a real email list of 1 million people on it. But to get to 100 leads a day, I'm spending, or I'm really 120, 130 leads a day. I'm spending about $1,000 a day. And I found on Google pay-per-click that that's pretty much as I want to spend in order to get efficient results in something like the content network. And then I can spill over to the keyword stuff or vice versa. But either way, if I'm spending keywords or content network or whatever on Google, I found $1,000 a day is a barrier. If I want to spend more than that, then I've got to be willing to pay a higher cost per acquisition. And I'm not really willing to do that. So to break that barrier, and $1,000 a day, I think makes you a mid-tier player in a niche. It's a lot of money. But to break that barrier, you've got to really do a full-scale rollout and advertise all over the place, not just on Google, but go directly to other sites, dominate Bing, dominate Facebook, even Twitter, all over the place. And I'll talk about someone who does that in a moment. But I really don't care about doing that. And I think you may see why by the end of this video too. It all comes down to, what are you really trying to do? Now, if you're really trying to make the most money possible, then let's talk about the stages of business and what it really takes to do it. And you may want to check out this book. It's titled Ready, Fire, Aim. It's written by Michael Masterson, who has worked for Agora, which is one of the biggest direct mail marketing companies on the internet that specialize in financial publications that make several $100 million on the internet, or make that in revenue every year. And the book's real interesting because he breaks up a direct mail business into 4 stages. I'm just going to talk about the first 3. Startup, he calls them startup, childhood, adolescence. And I'm somewhere personally between 1 and 2, the edges of 2. Let's talk about these things because it'll give you the idea of different types of businesses on the internet using those techniques. Now, what he calls childhood, which is basically 0 up to $1 million of revenue, in his model, I mean, it's possible business, and there are people making several $1 million in what he would call a childhood business. But it's essentially one product that converts very well. So to make a childhood, what he call a business in what he calls the childhood stage work, to get it, well, let me put it this way, to get a business selling a product to work on the internet, you've got to master marketing. You've got to find out what people want and position your product so that they will want it, and it'll become a high converting product. And then you go and get traffic. And you see lots of examples of this on ClickBank and all over the place. Successful products converting well. The trap is most people who try to do this don't actually do it because they don't master marketing. And I see this in the stock trading and stock market niche. There's hundreds, maybe thousands of people trying to sell products. Most of them fail because they don't really understand marketing. And if you don't understand marketing, traffic is useless. If you master marketing, then getting traffic becomes a priority to get to the 1 million mark. Now, to go beyond that into what Masterson says is the next stage, which I made a mistake, is startup is the first stage. He calls childhood the second stage. You need to sell multiple products and maximize customer value. So in the investment world, what these direct marketing companies do, and I'm not doing this, I'll explain what I'm doing, something different. They sell a cheap newsletter for $97 a year, and they try to get the most number of customers possible. And then they upsell those people into something typically in the $1,500 to $2,000 area. And they find that approximately 10% of their mass customer base will pay for the $2,000 upsell, and that's where they really make their profit. They're happy to break even on the cheap product and make all their money on the back-end upsell. And they focus primarily, once they get that going, that then they try to create multiple newsletters, multiple upsells to go beyond the $10 million mark. I don't do any of that. I sell something that I don't try to attract the mass man into my services. I charge $97 a month. So I'm trying to attract people that are kind of in between and make money that way, and it works fine for me. Stage 3, though, in Masterson's, see, I'm not trying to tell you that Masterson's model is the only model to follow. I'm not following it. I'm just trying to present it, the basic gist of it, to get you thinking about possibilities. And that's really what this presentation is about, possibilities. Stage 3, to get to the hundreds of millions of dollar mark, is you essentially have to multiply what you're doing by creating teams of people going into different markets, selling different products, and so forth. And that's what Agora does. If you're familiar with Ryan Dice, that's what he does. I don't know how much money he's making, but that's his essential marketing goal. But in any business you start out, and I'm assuming that you must focus on the startup stage in making a product work in the terms of getting it to sell. Once you go beyond that and you're making profits, you mastered marketing, you're getting traffic, you then reach a point of saying to yourself, what is my goal really? Is your goal really to make the most money you can possibly make? Once you're making a good profit, and I'm at that point, I have, you know, a comfortable lifestyle and I can do what I want, but I'm making enough money where I really don't care that much about, I mean, I do care, I do want to make more, but it's not really my only goal. It's no longer the most important goal I have. Living the lifestyle I want and being able to do what I want at this stage in my business life is actually more important than making the most amount of money I possibly can make. But let's assume you want to do that. Well, let me present to you the most successful person in internet marketing, because when I show you his process, I think you will understand what it takes truly to reach to maximize the goal of making the most amount of money you can possibly make. So let's take a look at his funnel. This guy is worth $2.3 billion. He's listed as being one of the richest people in the United States, and it's from his direct marketing funnel, his internet marketing funnel. Let's break it down. Let me reveal to you who he is. This is him, the billionaire internet marketer. His name is Ken Fisher. He's an investment advisor, and he's one of the biggest investment advisors in the country. The investment advisory business, what investment advisors make money off of is gathering as many assets from people as they possibly can, and then giving them investment advice and handling their money and making a commission off of that money, typically 1.5% to 2%. So if an investment advisor has $100 million worth of assets in their firm, they're going to make about $1.5 to $2 million in revenue from managing those assets. Well, this guy has collected billions of dollars in assets, $50 billion in assets through internet marketing. And that's how he makes so much money every single year. But this is what it takes for him to do this. He's got a giant organization. He runs massive he does massive pay-per-click ad spend all over the internet. If you click one of his ads, it asks you to give him your email address and your phone number. Once you type in his phone number, you will receive your phone number. You get a phone call from someone in his organization. He's got a massive phone room, a boiler room, at least one, that does this. Not only that, though, he's got hundreds of people spread out across the United States that will meet you personally. The purpose of the phone call isn't to get a sale, it's to set up a meeting, an appointment by one of these people who will meet you in your house. Now, Fisher writes books, at least one book a year, generally speaking. He runs seminars. He's got close, I think, over 1,000 total employees. So it's a massive organization, it's a massive business, and it's built around simple direct marketing principle. Ad spend that generates traffic to a landing page, captures your email address, your telephone number. You then receive a phone call from his boiler room, sets up an appointment in which the person's going to come visit you and try to get you to sign over your assets to Ken Fisher's control. He gets control of them. He takes 1.5% to 2%. But I'm going to tell you how sophisticated his organization is. One time I wrote a blog post about one of the things he wrote about in one of his books that I disagreed with. I didn't bash the man or anything like that. I simply disagreed with something he said. And then I did a Google search and found all these stories about, I was just making a blog post. It wasn't just a simple blog post discussion. But I found an article and a website critical of him, and I linked to that website in my post. Well, this is what happened. Within 20 minutes, I got a phone call from my cell phone from a number I didn't recognize. I answered it, and this person told me that he represented Ken Fisher in a giant law firm, and he wanted to tell me and warn me that the website I linked to, Ken Fisher is taking them to court, and he has massive resources. And I said, look, buddy, I don't know how you got, I was shocked. I don't know how they got my phone number, my cell phone number. It's not listed on the internet. But I said to the guy, I said, look, I'm not looking to write other things about Ken Fisher. You know, it's just a post. I just thought it would be an interesting discussion. But as then said, I'm not going to take it down. If you are trying to threaten me, it's not going to work. And that was the end of the phone conversation, and I never heard from them again. The point of this, though, is that's how organized this man is. It's like the NSA. I mean, to be monitoring the internet to the point where if someone writes a blog post, they get a phone call to warn them, and I took it as intimidation. That's a massive organization, but that is what the most successful guy in internet marketing is doing. Thousands of employees. And he makes, I believe, more money than anyone through internet marketing. He makes the internet marketing gurus we see doing launches and whatnot look like small potatoes. But I don't care about, that's what it takes. If your goal is to make the most amount of money possible, it takes a phone room. It takes massive organization. It takes running a giant corporation. And I'm not interested in that. I'm happy to make a nice living and write what I want to write and travel and do what I want to do. I don't want employees. I've got an office, but I hardly ever go there, and I essentially work out of my house. And that's what I want. What you want is up to you. But whatever you want, if you're trying to build a direct marketing business through email, you have got to learn to convert, no matter how big of a business you're trying to make. And if you monitor the pay-per-click ads, you'll see what's going on in a niche. You'll get a feel for what other people are doing that's working. You're going to get a feel for how you need to position your own offer to make it different than what other people are doing. And what you're going to discover is, for the most part, you're going to see stability at the top of the Google pay-per-click ads. You're going to see large, giant corporations at the top too. At the #1 spot, people like Fidelity, ShareBuilder. Those are stock market brokerages that I think I can tell they don't care how, they've got giant budgets, and I don't think they're focused on maximizing that money the most efficient way possible, and that's why they are happy, I think, to advertise in the #1 and 2 spots where you don't really get efficient results. But what you're going to discover is, beyond a couple giant corporations, on the rest of the page, you're going to see a lot of stability too, and some of them are going to be mid-tier players like I am. And then you're going to see at the bottom, and sometimes up here, other people appearing and disappearing constantly, who don't know the techniques that I've showed you about how to bid in these modules. Or they don't have offers that convert very well, and they're experimenting and whatnot to try to discover one. But you can learn a lot by seeing what's going on, by monitoring what's happening. So I just wanted to throw some final ideas out with you. I would recommend, if you really want to think about business building and internet marketing and direct marketing, check out that Masterson book. There's other books too that are good, and it's been fun doing this module. I hope you've gotten a lot out of it, and see you in the future. Oh, one last thought. I talked about creating the lifestyle you want, the organization you want. I don't want organization. The sense of employees and being a corporation. But one last final thing about marketing. Through your marketing messages, the type of emails you send out, the type of sales letters you do, you attract people on the wavelength of your messages. So you can attract the type of people you want. So that's a big part of the reason I structure my offers and messages the way I do. So that's another thing to think about. You will literally attract the customers you want to attract, and the type of people will be on the wavelength of your messages. So the more transparent you are, the more you put yourself out there. Ironically, I think the more you will find, people kind of like you that are attracted to your messages. At least that's been my experience. So we'll talk to you later.